The world is a cacophony of voices, a relentless storm of noise that never seems to subside. In this chaos, you have chosen the path of the observer, the one who stays quiet while others speak. Society calls this a virtue. They tell you that being a good listener is a rare and beautiful gift. They frame it as empathy, as kindness, as the ultimate sign of a grounded and mature character. But they never tell you about the price. They never mention the weight that settles in your chest. Silence is not just an absence of sound. It is a vacuum, and nature abhors a vacuum. When you offer your silence to the world, you are opening a door that most people keep locked. You are inviting the shadows of others to step inside your house and make themselves at home. Think about the last time someone unpacked their problems to you for 3 hours straight. They left the conversation feeling lighter, refreshed, as if a great burden had been lifted away. But look at yourself. You feel heavy. You feel drained. You feel like you are covered in gray soot. That is because you weren't just listening. You were being used as a psychological trash can. Trauma dumping is a subtle form of theft. It is the act of offloading pain without seeking a cure. The dumper doesn't want a solution. They don't want to grow. They only want to be empty of their rot. And because you are a good listener, you have volunteered to be the vessel for that rot. You sit there, nodding, absorbing every jagged detail of their misery, their failures, and their rage. You think you are being a friend, but you are actually becoming a graveyard for other people's ghosts. The dark side of listening is that it attracts the most broken parts of the people around you. Like a moth to a flame, the emotional vampire senses your stillness and views it as an invitation. They see your lack of interruption not as respect, but as a lack of boundaries to be exploited. They don't see a person in front of them. They see a mirror that doesn't talk back or judge. But the mirror has a soul, and that soul is slowly being stained by the reflections it must hold. We are told that empathy is a superpower, but raw empathy without a shield is a slow-acting poison. Every story of betrayal they tell you becomes a seed of cynicism planted in your own mind. Every description of their trauma becomes a vivid image that haunts your own quiet moments. You go to bed at night carrying the weight of 5 different lives, none of which belong to you. This is the listener's fatigue, a silent exhaustion that the world refuses to acknowledge or name. You become a repository of secrets that you never asked for and that you can never truly unlearn. The silence you once cherished as a sanctuary has now become a crowded room full of strangers' pain. Notice how these people rarely ask how you are doing. Notice how they never listen to your silence. They are so consumed by the sound of their own suffering that your presence is merely a backdrop. To them, you are an object, a tool, a function. You are the ear that validates their victimhood. If you were to speak, if you were to share your own darkness, they would suddenly become busy. The transaction is entirely one-sided. They give you their lead, and you give them your gold. This is not connection. This is a parasitic exchange disguised as a deep, meaningful friendship. The danger of being the quiet one is that you lose the ability to hear your own inner voice. It retreats, seeking refuge or becoming overshadowed. It retreats. It hides. It becomes a ghost in its own home, drowned out by the noise of the dumped. You start to believe that your only value lies in your ability to absorb the blows of the world. You pride yourself on your resilience, on your ability to be there for everyone else at all times. But resilience that leads to self-erasure is not a strength. It is a form of slow-motion suicide. You are neglecting your own shadow while you are busy tending to the shadows of the ungrateful. The human mind was not designed to carry the collective trauma of an entire social circle.
We have limits. We have emotional bandwidth. And yours is currently being stolen in broad daylight.
Think about the physical toll, the tension in your neck, the shallow breathing, the sudden headaches. Your body knows what your mind is trying to ignore. You are being poisoned by other people's lives. Every time you let someone dump their trauma without consent, you are violating your own peace. Yes, I said without consent. Just because they are talking doesn't mean you agreed to hold it. True listening is an active, conscious choice made in a safe space with mutual respect and care. What most people do to you is not communication. It is a violent expulsion of their internal mess. They treat you like a sewer system, expecting you to wash away the waste they refuse to process. And like a sewer system, if you don't have a way to filter the intake, you will eventually overflow. The overflow manifests as irritability, as sudden bouts of depression, or as a total loss of empathy. You find yourself hating the very people you once wanted to help, feeling a cold, hard resentment. That resentment is your soul's way of screaming for a boundary. It is your mind trying to survive. You are not a bad person for wanting to be left alone. You are not selfish for needing silence. The world will try to guilt you. They will call you cold. They will say you have changed for the worse. What they mean is that you are no longer a convenient place for them to throw their garbage. They miss the version of you that didn't have a voice, the version that let them talk until dawn. But that version of you was dying. That version of you was a hollow shell filled with gray ash. It is time to weaponize your silence. It is time to turn the vacuum into a solid, impenetrable wall. Silence should be your fortress, not your cage. It should be the place where you go to find yourself. When someone begins to dump, you must learn the art of the interruption, the art of the no. You must learn to say, I don't have the capacity to hold this right now. It is a revolutionary act. It feels like a betrayal of your nature, but it is actually the ultimate act of self-preservation. You owe no one your mental health. You owe no one the sacrifice of your internal tranquility. The people who truly matter will respect your boundaries. They will ask if you are ready to listen. The ones who leave, the ones who get angry, they were never your friends. They were your customers. They were shopping for a cheap therapist who wouldn't charge them a dime or hold them accountable. Let them go. Let them find another ear to bleed into. Your sanctuary is no longer for sale. Reclaim your ears. Reclaim your mind. Reclaim the quiet spaces between your own thoughts. The shadow of the listener is long and heavy, but it can be lifted if you choose to step into the light. You are more than a witness to other people's tragedies. You are the protagonist of your own story. Stop playing the supporting role in everyone else's drama while your own life remains unwritten. The next time someone approaches you with a heavy heart and a long story, look at your own heart first. Is there room? Is there light? Or is it already cramped with the ghosts of 1,000 conversations?
If the room is full, lock the door. You are not a public utility. You are a human being.
There is a profound power in saying nothing and walking away. It is the power of the self. In the noir landscape of the mind, silence is the only currency that actually holds its value. Don't spend it all on people who would never spend a single second of their silence on you. Learn to be a bad listener to those who treat you like a landfill. It is the highest wisdom. The good listener dies 1,000 deaths, buried under the rubble of secrets that aren't theirs. But the wise listener knows when to listen, when to speak, and when to disappear into the dark. Your silence is a temple. Stop letting people walk through it with their muddy boots on. Every word they speak into your silence is a seed. Make sure you only grow the gardens you want. The weight you feel is not yours to carry. It never was. It was a gift you never asked for. Put it down, leave it on the floor, walk out of the room, and don't look back at the mess. They will find someone else. They always do. The world is full of people waiting to be used. But you are no longer one of them. You have seen the dark side of the virtue they sold you. The shadows are receding. The air is getting thinner, clearer, and finally, it is yours to breathe. You are finally hearing the most important voice of all, the one that has been quiet for too long. It is your own voice, whispering from the depths of the void you finally cleared out. It is telling you that you are enough, even when you aren't serving as someone else's crutch. It is telling you that your peace is worth more than their temporary relief from their own choices. This is the path of the Psychumbra. This is the way we navigate the darkness without becoming it. We watch, we listen, but we never, ever let the world dump its shadows into our own light. The burden of high intelligence and deep empathy is the constant need for vigilant boundaries. Without them, you are just a sponge in a sea of acid. With them, you are a diamond in the rough. The choice is yours. Will you remain the graveyard, or will you become the gardener of your soul? The silence is returning now, but this time it is empty. This time it is clean and pure. Keep it that way. Guard the gates of your mind with the ferocity of a wolf guarding its pack. You are the only one who can protect your inner world. No one else is coming to save your peace. The world will continue to scream. The dumpers will continue to seek their next silent victim. But when they look at you, they will see a door that is firmly shut and a light that is blinding. They cannot handle the light. They can only handle the shadow you used to offer so freely. Let them stay in the dark. You have a life to live. You have dreams to dream in the quiet. The dark side of listening has been revealed. The spell is broken. The weight is gone. Go now and enjoy the sound of your own heartbeat. It is the only rhythm that truly matters. In the end, we are all alone with our thoughts. Make sure your thoughts are actually your own. The journey into the shadow of the mind is long, but you don't have to carry everyone's luggage. Travel light, stay quiet, stay sharp, and never let their trauma become your identity. This is the wisdom of the lone wolf. This is the power of the Psychumbra. Stay in the shadows, but never let the shadows own you. You are the master of the silence, not its servant. The conversation is over. The dumping has stopped. The silence is finally, beautifully yours. Take a deep breath. Feel the space around you. Feel the lack of other people's noise. This is what freedom feels like. It is quiet, it is cold, and it is absolutely magnificent. Don't be afraid of the cold. It is the sign of a mind that has finally stopped burning for others. You are the architect of your own silence. Build it strong, build it high, build it for you.